the two games, and we'll start with the game in the SEC. We've seen these two teams play in the past. Florida, 34 wins this year. Auburn, 32 wins. Both one seeds. One is your SEC regular season champion. The other is your SEC tournament champion. Vegas says Florida is a small favorite. Florida's been tested in this tournament. They had to do everything in their power. Walter Clayton and Houck and company to come back to beat Texas Tech. They survived Connecticut. Auburn's had some slow starts, but they have found ways to win. I thought they played clean for the most part against Michigan State. An interesting game to try to handicap. Mike LaTulip, your gut on this matchup is what?
I like Auburn because I think for some reason, or not even for some reason, but I think we've gotten to the point where Auburn is somehow underrated at this point. It feels like they're the fourth team talked about in this Final Four. And I just think you go back to that first matchup with Auburn and Florida, and Elijah Martin's out. And I just thought that Auburn jumps out to that early lead and just kind of lost focus. I think they just kind of assumed that Florida being a man down would just kind of roll over. And that wasn't the case. I mean, they built the 15-5 lead, 20-11. And then at one point in there, Florida goes on a 29-9 run and really blows that thing open, especially in the second half. And so I think there's going to be a lot of focus for Auburn in this game, much more than there was in that first game. I thought they got spread out defensively, whether it was their busting switches or miscommunications in their press, leading to all these easy buckets for Florida. I think we're going to see a different Auburn team in this game. And like I said, particularly on the defensive end, I thought they were tremendous defensively against Michigan State. And I thought they've steadily been on the ascent defensively since the regular season ended, where I thought they took a step back. So I expect them to be dialed in, especially on the prep. And the front court matchup, I think, is intriguing as well, because Alex Condon won that matchup against Janai Broome in the first meeting, flat out. And so Janai's, I would assume, going to have some extra motivation in that department too. This is going to be a great game, just like the other matchup is. And I think I'm leaning Auburn at this point.
You know, it's interesting, Tio. Throughout the year, Auburn was salivated over. I mean, it was, oh my God, they can beat you in so many ways, and they come at you. And Janai Broome, he was hurt, and they can win without him. And let's just salivate. And all of a sudden, their defense just imploded the last couple of weeks of the season. But Bruce said, look, we didn't need it. We already won the regular season. It didn't matter. We were, kind of cruising. Whatever it is, they have managed to become an underdog. They've managed to kind of become the disrespected team. Everybody and their little sisters in love with Duke. Do you think that plays into Bruce Pearl? Will he play the respect card, sir?
I think everybody respects Auburn. I think everybody does. I think it's going to come down to how well does Janai Broome feel. Like that sprained ankle / backwards bending knee / elbow problem / everything. Is he going to be able to cover Walter Clayton in ball screens? This feels to me, with that injury situation, with Dylan Cardwell shooting 32% from the free throw line, this feels to me so much like a game that Todd Golden is just going to manipulate. That's just what it seems like to me. He's just going to puppeteer this whole game. He's going to start fouling early. Dylan Cardwell is going to be sewing his own head at the free throw stripe. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Like they'll start fouling with 7.5 minutes to play. Like that's the kind of thing that Todd Golden will do, just if nothing else, just to take you out of anything that you want to do from a rhythm standpoint offensively. So I think that's going to be, he's almost going to godfather this thing, puppeteer the whole business. I like Florida in this game. Duke, Auburn has had an awesome season, and Tahad Pettiford, if he gets going, he could win this game by himself. He really could. I just feel like there's enough glaring holes, and they're not very big. They're tiny, glaring. They're tiny, and they're right there for Florida to just pick apart. And when it comes down to it, where's the weakness? Even if we have that graphic that we showed a second ago, the tournament stats, maybe we could show it again. I don't know if we can. But if you look down at the three-point percentage since, the tournament started, Florida's at 38, and then Auburn's at 31. There we go, right there at the bottom. Yeah, 31% and 38.8. I mean, that's pretty substantial differences. And
Yeah.
Florida's really scoring the ball. Walter Clayton has been an insane person, especially at the end of the game. Now, you need tough shot makers, but you're also going to need somebody to be able to put Broome in a bind. And I think that Florida has the guards to do that. So I think Todd Golden's going to be able to manipulate this game a lot. And I think he's going to end up winning this game.
And Tio, I agree with that because I have Auburn winning the game, but I agree with the manipulation aspect of it because in that first game, Janai struggled in ball screens, against Walter Clayton and these guys. And that's not even with Elijah Martin playing. I thought Aberdeen stepped up, and I thought that was the game that was kind of the coming out party for Florida's depth because you saw Aberdeen step in. He scores 10 points. Klavjar comes off the bench. You're like, he hits 3 threes. And I thought this was the game where Condon and Houck actually played the most together out of any game during the season, even up to this point. They played 21 minutes together in that game. They haven't surpassed that in any other game this season. So I do think they'll go back to the well on that because it gave Auburn problems. That's why they had to go. Cardwell had to get out. They had to go Chaney Johnson for large stretches in that game. So the personnel is going to be interesting. I agree with you. They're going to have to make Janai work defensively, especially in ball screens, because he just didn't have it in that game on that end. And I thought Condon frustrated him at times offensively. So we'll see. Because all the motivation factor, like, again, I think that has more to do with the prep and how dialed in you are to the personnel and the scout and all that stuff. Once the ball tips, it's kind of any other game. I know that the magnitude of this game is large, but you go out there on the floor, it's still basketball. It's still 5-5. It's still between the lines. So I'm excited because I think there's revenge on the mind of Auburn. Goodman interviewed them, Miles Kelly and Janai Broome after that game against Michigan State. It's very much on their mind. They're very aware what happened to Neville last time they played there. So I'm excited for it.
2-1 seeds.